Math friends. So our learning target today is I can model expressions. So our goal today is to take out any words that exist in the expression and turn it into numbers and symbols. So just some quick review on some vocabulary that you've heard before. So we have add, sum, increase, deposit. You might have heard those words before. Those are all considered addition or positive changes. Subtract, difference, decrease, or withdrawal. Like you take money out of your bank account, you would decrease your account. Multiplication, also known as product. When you double something, it's times 2. When you triple something, it's times 3. If you square something, it's also known as the exponent of 2 to the second power. And cubed means to the third power. So squared is the second power, cubed is the third power. So what is like the fourth power, the fifth power, the sixth power, and so on? Those are known as the something to the fourth power, something to the fifth power. So I don't know of any fancy names for those. And then finally, divide, quotient. Half means to divide by 2. Fourth means to divide by 4. So some of those phrases that you can refer to as you go. So this will be on the first page of the video. If you want to go ahead and check back on those if you get stuck on something like product or something. So our job is to basically rewrite these using numbers and symbols. Okay, so here we go. The quotient of this. Well, when we quotient something, we're talking division. So it would simply just be m divided by 7, or you could stack that and write it as a fraction, m divided by 7. Quotient. Sum. When you sum something, you add. So the sum of n and 4 would be n plus 4. Of course, you could flip that around because you've learned that it can go in either order for addition, known as the commutative property, but n plus 4 or 4 plus n. Okay, product. The product would be x multiplied by 7. X multiplied by 7. Okay. So decrease. Decrease is a subtraction situation. So u is going to decrease by 17. So we take u, whatever the value was, and we're going to decrease it by 17, or we're going to take 17 away. That's the same concept of like a withdrawal out of your bank account. Okay, to triple. When you would triple something, I know I saw it up here, we multiply it by 3. So you take a number, any number, and when you triple it, you're going to multiply it by 3. So say the number was the number 4. If we multiply it, if we triple it, we're going to need 4, 4, and 4, which is 12. So 4 times 3. We multiply it by 3. All right. Hopefully you're doing okay. So here comes that word again, the sum again. This time it's a little bit different, right? So it says, well, I guess it's very similar. The sum of a number and 3. So these two are very similar. I thought they were different, but I was wrong. First time ever. Next one, half of 8. When you half something, you divide by 2. So you have two options here. You can say that I'm going to take 8 and I'm going to take half of it. Or you can also do multiplication, 1/2 of 8. Either way, you would end up with the value of 4. The term squared. Squared means to the power of 2. So 6 squared would be 6 squared. Of course, you could write that also as 36. But I'll just leave it like that right now. The most complicated one on the entire page is this one that I'm going to draw a purple box around. 6 less than x. So if I do a kind of a side note here and I ask you, what is 4 less than 10? What is 4 less than 10? What would we have if we have 4 less than 10? You would say, well, 4 less than 10 would be 6. Take 4 away from 10. So if I ask you what is 4 less than 5, you would say, well, take 4 away from 5 would be 1. So this is the tricky one because we're going to take 6 away from x. So it actually becomes x minus 6. So whatever x is, we want to take 6 away from that. So that one's a little bit tricky. That's my big purple box. Tricky, tricky, tricky. That one will come back in the practice set as well. That's just one that almost everybody struggles on. Difference. The word difference means to subtract. So we're going to difference these two things, which is m minus 5. Another way to say that is 5 less than m. We're taking 5 away from m. Okay, so that is how we will do business. So we're going to do another sheet here, and then we're going to try 4 word problem scenarios. Okay, So you can pause the video at this point and try some of these or all of these. In fact, why don't you do that? Why don't you pause the video, try these, and then we'll go over them, and then you'll have 4 more to do, and that'll be the end of the lesson. Okay, so you should have tried these. Quotient means divide. So n divided by 7. I feel like we already did that one. Didn't we already do that one? Yes, we did. Hopefully you have it. Next one, number 2, 12 more than. A number tripled. So we're going to take the number and we're going to triple it, which means we're going to multiply it by 3. So the expression would be 12 plus the number times 3. Notice this isn't an equation. We're not solving for the variable. This is just an expression of terms. Okay, here's that purple box one. We're going to take 2 away from the number. N minus 2. Take 2 away from the number. Okay, number 4. Let's see how we did. Squared, second power. 5 to the second power, also known as 5 squared. Product. Product means to multiply, so we have x multiplied by 10. Twice. When we twice something, we're multiplying it by 2, so we're going to twice 6. Of course, you could write that as 12 as well, but I'm going to leave it like that for now. Number 7 is super duper tricky. We're going to take 5 away from x cubed. 5 away from that. So I'm going to take 5 away from x cubed. If you go back to the note sheet on the front, cubed means power 3. So cubed means power 3. So we are going to take x cubed, and we're going to take 5 away from that because it's 5 less than x cubed. That's that tricky purple box thing. This one's pretty easy peasy lemon squeezy. We're going to sum that, which is x plus 8. Hopefully you have that one, no problemo. All right, we have 8 left on the right. Let's see how we do. We're at the 7-minute mark. We're in good shape. If you take half of 14, you can think of that as 14 divided by 2, or 1/2 of it is 7. When we increase, we add. So this would be the expression x plus 12. When we take the quotient, we divide, which would be x divide by 10, the quotient of. When we take the difference, we subtract, which would be m minus 13, difference. Now the word difference here, if this helps at all, is the same as the word decrease or withdrawal. So we would say if we're going to decrease in 13 by 44, we're going to take the value and decreasing by 44. 6 more than. Product means to multiply. So 6 more than the product of 6 and x, meaning to multiply the 6 and x. 6 more than that. Question 15. We have this 5 less than thing happening here. We're going to take 5 away from the product of 6 and x. So I'm going to move that down here. The product of 6 and x. And we are going to take 5 less than that. Take 5 away from the product of 6 and x. Last problem on this page. Here we go. 1/2 of 20. Another way to think of it is 1/2 of 20, or 20 divided by 2 would be 10. 1/2 of 20 would be 10. That's supposed to be a 10. Maybe that's hard to tell, but this one should be 10. All right, last 4 problems and we're out. We're only at the 9-minute mark. This is like the best video ever. You try 4 problems. So I'm going to ask you to pause the video at this point and give these 4 a try, and then we are out for today. Okay, so you should have tried these 4. Let's see how you do. This first one is asking us to take 6 away from 5 times a number. So 5 times a number takes 6 away from. So you should have said that the correct answer would be D. So grade your paper, D. The next one, twicing. If we're twicing something, we're multiplying by 2. What are we twicing? This stuff. We're going to sum a number and 7. Now in math, you don't have to have the multiplication sign on the outside. It just means to multiply. So the answer should be A. 2 left for today. Oh, I was trying to get it in under 10 minutes and I didn't do it. I talked too much. I know you're thinking it. 2 to the 4th power. 2 to the 4th power. No fancy word there. There isn't a square or a cubed. It's to the 4th power. Minus n. Now, we just talked about evaluating expressions in our last lesson, so we're going to substitute the 5 in here. That's not going to work. And let's see, 2 to the 4th power would be 4 of those. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 4 times 4 is 16. So this is 16 minus 5. 5 less than that. So the answer should be C. The answer should be C. So much easier to do this in class on our real board. Okay, last problem of the day, drum roll. Here we go, here we go. Which of the following represents the situation? The product of, oh boy, the product of n and 12 diminished or decreased by 9. So your answer should be D. The product of n and 12 decreased by 9. So our job today was basically back to this first page, knowing what those terms mean. So make sure that you know what product and difference and double and square mean. Those are the kind of the reference points of today's lesson. Have a glorious night. Keep up the good work. I know this is tough. You can do this. Be good to yourself and think about your future. You can do